because it might draw the attention.
Yeah, all right. Okay. Turn my mic on. Welcome. We got special guests in the building. Got my pops with me. Give me a round of applause. Got Papito in the building. This is a special episode. This is kind of something new we wanted to do. I guess you could say like I probably found my permanent co-host for sure. We definitely wanted to make this podcast episode, for fathers and sons who may have been separated, still separated, or maybe sons who don't get to have that bond with them fathers. Definitely, we just wanted to share our story. So we'll jump right into it. Got my dad with me. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Dad.
Okay, my name is Rodney Green, and I'm with my son right now. We were separated for many years. However, that separation, we grew a bond in that separation. This is a testimony for those who were separated from their sons, fathers and sons that were separated from one another because of something they may have done that was wrong and they was incarcerated for it. But also, it was for the good because it could have brought the best out of a person, and made that person a better man, a better father, better son, better uncle, better brother. So what we really want to, the testimony that we really trying to give is that I was incarcerated and indicted by the feds in 2001 for gun-related and drug charges. I did my 15 years. My son was 2.5 when I went to prison. When I came home, he was 18 or 17, going on 18.
Yeah, August.
So, but he had already graduated from high school. So when we did reunite, it was real emotional because we had been separated so long, and I had missed so much of his life that I was devastated behind it. So, but I learned that sometimes when things like that happen, it helps and grooms you to be a better man. So we just want to share with the world, Instagram friends, Facebook friends, that this is an instrumental testimony that may help somebody else in a real profound way.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we doing this in order to help other people, not just to tell the testimony, just so that it won't help anybody else,
right?
Or just to try to
Not
make it seem as though, make it seem as though it's just for us.
Yeah.
We sharing this with the world for a reason.
Yeah.
So I was able to get obtain my education while I was in there.
Mm-hmm.
I obtained an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, and I'm working on my master's now. So I did some extraordinary things while I was incarcerated. So we just wanted me and my son dialogue with you guys and let you know how it affected us, and what we are doing now to try to make a difference in somebody else's life.
Yeah, for sure.
So once I came home, it wasn't easy getting a job. My mom had passed 14 days before I was released from prison. So that really, it was devastating.
Heart-wrenching.
It was a traumatic situation. It was heart-wrenching. And so we all was affected in a major way behind that. So now it's about, continuing to bring the greatness out of myself. And my son, I seen him graduate from junior high school, elementary school, junior high school, and he went to college, and I was able to go up to Eastern Michigan University where he attended, and be there to see him on campus. So that was really, really powerful right there. So it's like I always told him, if you see it and believe it, if you can believe it and conceive it, you can achieve it.
Yeah.
So it's your goals is tangible, but you have to believe it.
Yeah.
You have to be inspirational enough to say, you have some perseverance and be able to.
And you're a testimony to that. I mean, people don't think when you're incarcerated that you can further your education. You know what I mean? That's something a lot of people don't. That's something a lot of people, I'm sure, my friends, that you can do. They're just not privy to that. So, you know what I mean? Seeing that, or just having you in my head, with you doing that, I'm like, okay, I got to get mine too. I got to make sure I'm on mine too. So that, you know what I mean? You're definitely a testimony to that, because not many people can say that they walked out, you know what I mean, and they had a higher level than where they were, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People say it, but to actually have that, you got tangible evidence, you know what I mean, that you grew. So, that's I think that's pretty instrumental, and for myself, and just being around that mom, being in nursing school, and still chasing higher education. So
so that motivated you.
Yeah, I feel like it's always been around me, you know what I mean? It's always been in my face. It's like when that's kind of like, you know what I mean, the norm. That's all anything else is not acceptable. That's kind of how I kind of think about that, and how it came about for me, at least.
Yeah.
That's
I think that's very you inspired me as well. So it was it's a two-headed sword, basically. I think that we actually motivated one another, and it was certain, like the time when I wrote you and I told you that we was gonna read President Obama's books, Dreams of My Father and The Audacity of Hope, and we read those together. That was very powerful to me, because we was able to share our thoughts with one another and dialogue on what we had read and how we understood it.
Bounce back off each other.
We fed off one another,
right?
And so it just was a lot of books that I read that inspired me. Like Anthony Robertson wrote a book called Awaken the Giant Within.
Right.
And it it really just made me, pursue my goals even harder when I read that book. And it's another book by Dr. I think his name Dr. Dreyer, Wayne W. Dreyer. What was the name of it? Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life.
This man read a lot of books.
So so I was real voracious in my reading and studying, and I can go on and on about the books I read, but like by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Message to the Black Man, Our Savior Has Arise, The Fall of America, How to Eat, How to Live, the autobiography of Malcolm X, and
classics.
Just many books that really inspired me and made me do better.
Yeah.
So when I actually, told you about them books, how did how did it inspire you once you read those books and and basically, absorbed the knowledge that was in the books?
Yeah.
How did you, how did you conceive it and put it into use for your, benefit?
I feel like I've always, like when you sent me that kind of stuff or told me about it, like it's a shame because like I've always I tapped into, you know, and I read it, but I don't feel like even until like recently, until like my consciousness got a little higher, and just going through some things that like I truly like the meaning of it resonated with me. You know what I mean? I'm not ashamed to say like it has taken time for like certain things to like find a way around and like the true meaning of it to get to me. You know what I mean? Because you gotta like kind of go through some stuff to like, you know, kind of sit with something differently, you know? So it was, you know, I feel like I said on the phone before, like, yo, like, you know what I mean? You always put like good knowledge in front of me, always put like something that, you know, keep me going right in front of me. But like, you know, honestly, I feel like these recent years, you know what I mean? Until like, I may have needed a little more guidance, you know, to where I may not have somebody right in front of me telling me something, you know. I had to tap into that and see what it truly meant for myself. So I feel like I'm grateful, you know, and because I've always had, you know what I mean. I feel like on my journey, I've always had people around me to keep me on that path, and you know, you definitely are like the main person, you know what I mean. That like, you know, read this, you know what I mean, and read that, and take on that, you know, this, and make sure you know what I mean, you reading that, because you know it's some powerful, you know what I mean, always spoke with conviction, you know. So I'm super grateful, you know. I like you said, we went through most of this together, and we, you know what I mean, it's always been there for me. I may just have not had the vision, you know what I mean, to understand what it truly meant at the time. So that's it's always been like super powerful. And you know, it's taken a while, even like growing up, to like realize like you've always like been looking out for me, even if I didn't like truly understand, you know what I mean, like financially, you know what I mean, and just, you know, spiritually, you know, mentally. How was that for you? Like even not like, you know, not being there, but kind of like doing your best and putting your best effort forth, even if I didn't like realize what was going on, because I know that's not easy, you know what I mean, especially, you know what I mean, because things could turn out a lot different. I could just be oblivious and not really care, you know. So how did that like work for you, and you know, putting forth the effort, keeping it up?
Well, I knew that basically that I had to work on myself first, because self-improvement is everything, you know. And it's an old saying, communication rules the nation. So, you know, when you lack communication, you know, you basically can't get your point across. And you know, for those you know, sons that's, you know, they father's incarcerated right now, you know, don't just give up on your father, because, you know, even if he has a life sentence, you never know. You know, the life sentence could get turned over in the courts, and he could be home, he can come home to you. And it's a lot of innocent men out there too. So don't just, you know, be brainwashed to believe because your father was incarcerated, you know, he was a bad person. It's people out here in society, even politicians, that commit crimes all the time and don't go to prison. So, you know, it doesn't mean that a person is not a good person because they made a mistake in their life. So it's the person who don't, you know, try to improve themselves is the person that loses out the most. You know, because you can't go through life being the same person, and not, if you don't evolve, then something is wrong. And sometimes when you do evolve, you may not be able to hold on to the friends, that the ones who you call your friends, because you have outgrown them. So for you to go to the next level, you might have to leave them behind. You can't always bring them along with you. So strive to be your best, and you know, reach for the stars. You know, it's just like, you know, R. Kelly said, "I believe I can fly." You have to be. You can't take that in a literal sense, but you can mean it. I meant it to apply to me. Like, you know, I believe I can fly, and I have wings knowledge.
Empowering yourself.
Yeah, empower myself, and I gained the knowledge. Once you gain knowledge, you can fly and soar in another way. So, don't never give up on your loved ones because, something happened in their life or they made a decision, because it's your decisions, a bad decision, because it's your decisions and your choices that determine your destiny.
Yeah, for sure.
So what do you think about that, son? I mean,
I think that's very key. I feel like a lot of people. I feel like our situation is just like pretty unique. I don't feel like it always happens this way. So I feel like that's very important for a lot of people to hear. I feel like there's definitely people that I grew up with, people in my hometown, you know what I mean, who had fathers, like that in jail, out of jail. And maybe they didn't even like rekindle to be as close when they came home. You know what I mean? It's a lot of ways that, like especially dealing with the incarceration system, that this breaks families apart, tears families apart. So again, I continue to just speak for my gratefulness because a lot of my friends, just don't have it. They literally just don't have the relationship there. They may know, about know of them, know who they are, know what they look like, and all of that, but the relationship just might not be there. And so like when it comes to us, I definitely I'm always geeked because I feel like we're best friends, and stuff. So it's I'm super grateful. I feel like a lot of people just don't get to hear both perspectives, or even are open to it. So I think it's pretty key. And then on top of that, like being there for the adjustment. I know it's taken a lot of adjustment on your part, as far as like into society. So like how was that, and like how do you feel now looking back since like 2016? Because it's a lot changed, a lot of technology, a lot of
when I first was released from prison in 2016, it was a hard struggle because first of all, it was a culture shock. The electronics became so advanced that I couldn't operate them. So of course I had to ask you,
right,
to help me with stuff, and other family members to help me with these, how to actually operate these new telephones, the iPhones and the Androids, So it was a struggle to learn, but in due time I learned, and I know I was doing the best I could, but it's a challenge, and for those who
having the whole communication system
in one phone, and you can watch TV on the phone, and you can record on the phone, and you could basically send text messages on the phone
while you watching the movie.
Right, while you watching the movie, or while you on the telephone, which is
you can
crazy.
Skype, you know what I mean? Somebody on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
I can video my auntie in Denmark right now.
Yes.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah.
That's why I like bounce. That's why I like asking you like how it is for you, because it's like I've grown with this stuff. Like I don't even know any different, kind of in a sense. So
it's like second nature for you.
Yeah, like it's you know what I mean. But for for you, like you've been around a lot longer, so like seeing how things have just come to, be world in your hands. I know that's like. Yeah, I can't even act like I know what it feels like, you know what I mean? But I know it definitely, a little challenging for sure. So it's I know it's pretty crazy. One topic I definitely wanted to cover was R.I.P. to the Mamba. We gotta give it up for him all here.
Okay.
Give him some applause. I'm gonna keep this applause going for a minute.
Okay.
Give it up for the Mamba, man. Truly. Still, this one still hurts, man. It's crazy because I remember back just years ago. I don't know. You've always like kept greatness in my face. So you like, I know I definitely talked about LeBron and stuff like that. Brought him up, but Kobe was somebody that you always referred to just with like his mindset and like, you know what I mean, his work ethic, and all of the above really. Dang man, you know what I mean? It's crazy, you know what I mean? It don't even feel real. And then the day after LeBron passes on the all-time scoring list, that is truly crazy. How'd you feel about that? Like when you heard the news,
Oh, wow, it kind of like, really
with
blew my mind.
this daughter too.
Yeah, because that was so touching to me because she had became so great at basketball. It was in her genes, of course, and for him to be taking her to a game and in the process and some of her friends and that tragedy happened, it just was overwhelming. And I know it was for a lot of us all around the world, not just in America.
Yeah.
But I thought he was a true legend, and that he will always be remembered as such. So it's just he knew exactly what he wanted to be, and he brought that into fruition. His thoughts, and that's what we have to realize as human beings. We bring our thoughts into fruition. If we say we're great, we're gonna be great. If we say we're not great, then that's what we're gonna be. Yeah. So you can't put certain thoughts into the universe and expect good results to come out of it. So
I don't think a lot of people realize the power of that. Like I can't sit here and act like it always would have resonated with me like that. But like when you truly put in the work to self-improve and improve your life and clean up your environment around you and be about positivity. Like I don't know, I've developed my mind to be kind of so like ultra positive, you know what I mean? Like I even hit my bro who's in the service the other day on Snapchat, like, yo bro, you know what I mean? Love to see service still doing you well. Love to see you still traveling the world. And he hit me back like, I don't even be thinking people see what what I'm doing all the time. I just put it online or on my stuff just for people to watch, just so, I mean, I'm taking full advantage of my opportunities, but it's like love seeing you do your thing too. Love the positivity, bro. Keep it up. So I think, I don't know, it just, you gotta wanna change your life or I feel like I just experienced some powerful stuff with the company, you know what I mean, kind of growing and people supporting me and getting certain opportunities. And so I continuously keep taking myself seriously and trying to just get to that next level. So I study a lot of the successful people or just traits and things to do to improve yourself and speaking and your thought process, you know what I mean, the thoughts, knowing that you control your thoughts and identifying the bad thoughts. Well, where's that thought coming from? That's not me. I don't like these thoughts, you know what I mean? It takes a lot of self-awareness, you know what I mean, and so I don't know, it's sad because I feel like a lot of people just don't, they're so lost in the sauce, man, or in the matrix, that they don't realize what, you know what I mean?
So not to cut you off, but dialogue a little bit on how you started your clothing line.
Yeah.
So that other young men can be inspired. Young men and young women can be inspired by what you accomplished.
Yeah. I want to go back to like I want to go back to like fall to 2017. I think I had just moved out here to Ipsy, and I was working my job out here, and I was also at.
But hold on, let everybody know that you had first graduated from high school.
Yeah.
When you was coming out here for college.
Right. College. So I graduated in 2016. I did a full freshman year at Eastern Michigan after I graduated from high school. So that's 2016 going into 17. And then I left Eastern at like April 2017, right?
Yeah, but let them know you was on campus.
Yeah, was on campus. I lived on the Brotherhood floor, and like I said, I did fall semester, winter semester. You know what I mean? So I had a great experience with a freshman year out here, just away from home. it just, kind of experiencing, just growing, you know what I mean? Just really living the dream, you know what I mean? Kind of, chasing higher education. Came home, switched some things up, decided to transfer to Washington. And, in the midst of all that, I ended up moving out here to Ypsilanti. And so I'm working my first job. I'm at Washington, and I'm also obtaining my first apartment. Paying bills on my own and such. And it got overwhelming, and I had to focus on one thing or another. Definitely had to provide for myself first. So had to drop out of school. Kind of focus on stabilizing myself, paying my bills, everything. And so that led to me having to work full time. I ended up not working at that job I was at anymore. Then I ended up starting working at the hotels. So I'm working at the hotel now. And I think in the midst of all this, I was just doing the same things. I was playing a video game, kind of going to work, just working, eating bad food, you know what I mean? Not really working out, taking care of myself. And, again, this is my first time living on my own, paying bills and like providing for myself. So, I'm going through a lot of self-awareness and just like, frustration, like, why is stuff like this? Or, so it took a lot of just banging my head on the wall and kind of trying to see where I'm going wrong with things, and also just not satisfied with my situation. So I was so bored with just working full time. I work at a hotel, and it's a small hotel too, so it's only like 50 rooms. So kind of just sitting at the desk on my phone all shift, come home on my phone, on the game, like just not doing nothing really with my life, not involved in nothing. I'm not really communicating with my family like that. So not much going, not much popping. And then I'm not even really online or talking to any of my friends like that because I'm ashamed in some sort. I'm not in school. Other people might be in school, or, I'm not even home, So it's a lot that's going on around me. In the midst of all this, somehow starting the Chosen Few Threads, and somehow just like creating a company, announcing to people I was gonna make my own clothing line, that was like work to me. That was like something to work towards, something to put my mind toward, something to, just keep my mind busy, something to keep me creative. And 2 years later, you know what I mean? I've done way more. I've talked to people and had opportunities that I never thought I would have had, or just like, I can't imagine what I would be doing without that. So it's, just taking you through that in my mindset, that's what led to me, like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna take, this movement, I'm gonna take this name, this group, this thing that me and my friends created. And I'm gonna try and do it big. I'm gonna make this company. I'm gonna make a clothing line, and from there, 2018 had to go through a lot of groundwork, a lot of development, a lot of just, the dirty work, pretty much. But again, 2 years later, from January 11, 2018, where I feel very established, and very respected by my peers. So it's been dope, you know what I mean? Been very dope. It's been a great journey, I'd say, for the least, for sure.
That's heavy. So, young men and young women, in a nutshell, you should be inspired by that. I'm so proud of my son because, he brought his thoughts into fruition. And, it's never too late. And just doing it at a young age makes it that much more, greater to me, because like, actually Walden, that started off in Walmart, he started when he was 45 years old.
Wow.
So that lets me know that it's never too late. And then Kentucky Fried Chicken, Colonel Sanders started Kentucky Fried Chicken when he was 65 years old.
Man,
so
talk to him.
Yeah, it's like, you always have to know when it's time to bring your thoughts into fruition, to keep pushing the envelope, to strive for greatness, knowing that it's a greatness inside of you. So I really, when I was going to college, when I, obtained my GED, even though I failed it 3 times before I passed it, I wouldn't give up. Then I went on to go to college. and obtain, 2 college degrees and working on the third one. So I know that, it takes motivation, determination, and
Gotta dig
a lot
deep.
of willpower in
Yeah.
order to achieve what you need to achieve in life. So I'm just, this is an inspiring story for those who really want to do better with themselves in their life, and we hoping that we can inspire, any and everybody that fathers and sons that really don't have an established a relationship with one another, and they don't engage with one another enough to get a bond, to grow, to have a bond, and to be better sons and better fathers to one another.
Yeah. 100%.
So, what do you think about that, X-Men?
Yeah, I think you're spot on, man. It's this business stuff is it's been really rewarding for me. It took me like going through at least a year and a half, almost 2 years of college, to where I just had to realize like it kind of, not that it even wasn't for me, but like right now it's just not the time. I'm not gonna keep forcing it and like keep putting myself in a position to kind of struggle. You know what I mean? So it's really funny, man, because this whole time like I'm not conscious of the fact that like I'm literally like chasing my dreams, and I'm like, at some points I did get stagnant, you know what I mean? I did kind of, but you got to pace yourself. I'm new jumping into this, just saying I'm a make a clothing line, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. And it's times where I had to realize I had to get more professional, and I had to up this if I'm gonna be a business person. And then I had to refer to myself as an entrepreneur, a business owner. You know what I mean? I had to take myself seriously. So it's a lot of steps. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna act like I always just like, I'm gonna start this company and I'm gonna take off from here. No, I had to prove to other people around me that this is something I'm gonna take seriously. This is something that's my life, you know what I mean, and I care about, in order for other people to take it seriously too. So it's just steps.
Passionate about.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Always, anything I do, I always wanna put my heart into it and show people that I'm serious about it, just because like I want to be taken seriously, you know what I mean? So I never, like I said, 2018, maybe some of that was on me with just presenting it the right way and just staying on top of things. Like, at least like during the summer, I wasn't that focused, you know what I mean? I had to get stable income in my personal life to constantly be able to reinvest in the company and do stuff. So it's a lot of steps. It's a lot of determination, a lot of struggle, you know what I mean? I'm still not exactly, where I'd like to be today, of course, but it takes time.
That's understandable.
It takes time.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
And so, you keep reaching for the stars. But so, young men and young ladies, this is one of our first sessions that we starting, on this podcast. So we want you to actually, tell us what you think about, the dialogue that we just,
I feel like
presented to you.
a lot of people gonna love it. Once I release it to like my friends and stuff like that, we're gonna grow together for sure. That's why I didn't introduce it as like TCF radio or anything, because this is, definitely a new dynamic I wanted to start, especially because I want to have a consistent co-host. So you always gonna see just me and him, and we'll have some special guests here and there, friends of him, friends of mine, or other people that inspire us. We'll definitely get to see a lot more of this. So definitely tell us what you think. There's definitely another topic I wanted to I wanted to talk about. Of course, because I was watching it last night. Okay. So just to tell the listeners what I'm talking about. Last night I was watching the documentary "Who Killed Malcolm X," and for people that don't know, my father, Tom Pop, you are.
Okay, well, I'm Muslim,
right.
I've read a lot about Malcolm X. I really can't. I grew up in this. I was really born in the '60s, so I'm a '60s child.
Right.
So I was born in the midst of the civil rights era and all of that. So it's a lot that the 67 riots that I was too young to be in, but it affected me in a way. But I do remember when the helicopters was flying around in Detroit, and I was 3 years old, and I can remember this to this day. I was on the porch, and I was riding my tricycle, and I was playing with my water gun, and my mom snatched me because I was pointing the water gun up at the helicopter. And I can remember this. Some people can't remember back that far when they was that young, but it was so traumatic because she snatched me off my tricycle so hard. Say, "Boy, what are you doing?" And I can remember that to this day. Nothing else, I can remember at that age but that situation.
Yeah.
But so sometimes, things have such an impact on us, we can't do nothing but remember it.
Yeah.
But in conclusion, because this gonna be the first of our, of many sessions that we gonna,
just the first part, nice intro
dialogue on. So you guys, you just give us some feedback and tell us what you think, and if you like the discussion, because it's gonna be many, many more to come. Please feel free to give us the likes or dislikes, or if you're feeding off of it, and
drop a comment, drop a reaction, share,
comment. Let us know, that it's inspirational to you, and it's something that if you have a father that's incarcerated and you haven't been writing your father, please write your father, tell him you love him, because life is too short. You see what happened to Kobe. It was at the blink of an eye, him and his daughter, passed away, and we mourn with his family. So, thank you very, very much for listening to us dialogue. And we just looking forward to continue to have these conversations with you guys.
Yeah, no, I think, and I feel like I've been studying podcasts for like the past year or two. I've been listening to them a lot, and I did a few. So I've always been like, it's just annoying because I've always been like, I've done a lot of pods with different people, but you're my co-host. We're my co-host, so definitely. Y'all definitely see more of us. We'll develop some kind of consistent record and post schedule. And definitely me and my pops just thought this would be something cool to do together for sure. So.
And before we conclude, shout outs to my son's mother, Christine Turner, for keeping us in contact with one another, keeping me with updated pictures and writing me letters, and I love her to death, for being a real good woman. And a good mother to her son, and helping raise my son, in my absence. So in conclusion, thank you all.
Next episode, you're gonna tell me who you think killed Malcolm.
Yeah. I'll give you my theory.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair for sure. Well, definitely, thanks for tapping in, y'all. Again, this is a very special episode. Just wanted to keep it light, nice intro for you guys. Know who we are, how we came about, and kept our relationship strong. So again, give it up for my pops on this episode. Give it up for Papito. Hey. Let's see we gonna end this out. This